And for my next trick, I will take you right back to the 1990s. A couple of videos ago, I have made ink, iron gall ink. And I used this piece of linen to clean up my workspace, to decant the ink, and I don't know, there's something quite aesthetic about it. You see, this reminds me of tie-dyed shirts that, were all the rage in the 1990s when I was a small child. I kind of want to return to that. I want to be a small child again and wear tie-dyed shirts. So, I'm going to use this, whatever accidental thing I did on here, to do some tie-dyeing. I went to my favorite second-hand clothing shop and got this. First off, this isn't white, but I think the tie-dyeing will just work on a nice yellow shirt as well. A linen shirt in my size. And then for I am nothing if not ambitious, a full-on, full-length linen dress. A couple of months ago I got this book at a local second-hand book fair, Tie-Dyeing and Batik, edited by F. Anderson. So this is going to be my guide, next to, of course, the videos of Andrea Alexander, which I think are just so fun and so inspirational, and the main reason why I want to try this as well. So if you haven't checked out Andrea's channel, just, pause this video, first check her entire channel, and then come back to this video. This book was published in 1974, so if my magic trick makes you nostalgic for the 1970s instead of 1990s, then I think my magic trick still worked. The 20-year cycle of fashion. These here spectacular colors on my scrap bit of linen were made with oak galls and iron. I still have a little bit of pulverized oak galls left in this little jar, but I don't think that's enough to both mordant and color the both pieces that I want to tie-dye today. So I'm going to make a little bit more of bashed up oak galls. I have both some marble galls and some knopper galls in this pot. I think that's going to give us plenty of gall powder to make this experiment work. And now we can concentrate ourselves on making the patterns. I have brought some elastic bands, and let's get to tying. For my yellow shirt, I want to go with the very nostalgic concentric circle tying technique, which according to the schematics just looks like this. I just want to make sure they're not right on my babage, because I don't know if I would be comfortable with that. For the dress, I actually want something more like this, more squares, straight lines. So I'm going to be a little bit more precise with it. Due to the magic of editing, this looked fast, easy and simple, and it is of course very chaotic. It's just wherever I found a spot to make a circle, I made a circle. It looks a little bit like a hedgehog right now. So yeah, that's what the shirt's going to be, but the dress a little bit more precise. Nice, neat folding. I'm hoping that this tannin bath will give the fabrics a little bit of a brown color, but if anything, these tannins act more as a mordant for the next step. So for the dress, I do want to go with this color combination of the tannin brown and the iron black. However, for the yellow, I don't think that is a great combination. Black and yellow, it's good on bees, but I don't think it'll look quite so as fantastic on me. So let's dive into my natural dyeing stash and find something that might elevate the yellow. Let's try something different. Let's try to mix two dye stuffs. This is madder, makes red. This is anato, makes orange. I hope together they make a really nice orangey red. Like madder is already sort of an orangey red. It's just that I don't have a lot of madder left. This red mixture is becoming really nice. However, I am going to put this away for a little bit, for actually we're not yet done mordanting. For the orange-red color to really stick to that yellow shirt, let's add some alum as well. The alum has dissolved in my second mordanting vat, and both my pieces have been in this bucket with the oak gal tannins for somewhere between 1.5 hours and 2 hours by now. I know the magic of editing, it didn't seem like so long, but this has been in here quite a long time, because actually 1 hour is the absolute minimum. You can leave it in there like overnight if you want. I'm not going to do that because I am of an impatient disposition. Anyway, I'm going to take out the yellow shirt. That has now become a very pretty ochre color. I'm actually thinking that I might add some extra resists in here so that this ochre color comes through in the end as well. So let's do that first before we put it into the alum. The dress has turned a beige brown. Before I put it in, I actually removed some of the resists, and I'm going to put them in again on this fabric before we are going to turn this dye vat black, so that there is, well, you know, 3-color tie-dye fun stuff. I see a brown dye and I want to paint it black. This is my iron solution, in which you just put in iron like rusty nails, old pannies, vinegar and water, and just leave it on the windowsill or somewhere that you can store it for a couple of weeks, and it will turn into a very useful dye stuff. I'm going to turn my brown tannins black with this and then put the dress back into it. As you can see, I have wrapped it meticulously, and I'm hoping for all kinds of stripes, and I hope my resists resist. But it seems like this is not entirely submerged anymore because all of the dye that might have gone out. I'm going to just add some water. It's been 15 minutes and I don't actually want a deep, dark, black dress. I think grey is enough, so I'm going to rinse the dress out and then we can undo all the resistance and see if it is a natural dye, tie-dyeing, all actually works, because I don't know. This is the first time I'm trying. I've been following Atomic Shrimp's motto, Stop wondering, start trying. I will have to wash this again after we have removed the resists, but first I wanted to get as much of the iron out before I start releasing the resists. I'm already seeing some of the brown peeking underneath some of the twig resists. That makes me very excited for this. There's stripes emerging! The back looks the coolest, I think. The front is a little bit more subdued, but it still has some of the cool stripy things that I wanted to achieve. Yeah. Let's rinse this out completely now. With our dresses, proof of concept that natural dye works for tie-dyeing, let's now also dye the shirt. Very excited for this one because I think that will be a lot more in your face than the dress is. I like that the dress is not so very much in your face, but this one is going to be. And now we can play the waiting game once more. Okay, so maybe this isn't going to be as in your face as I said it was going to be, because right now it has this really warm ochre color that I love this. If I see this on a garment, I cannot leave the garment in a store, so yeah, I want to stop here. You remember the very bright yellow that it used to be. I still think a tie-dye is going to look amazing even though this isn't actually red or orange. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here because this color, this exact color, is just going to fit with approximately everything in my wardrobe. So I'm going to leave it there. Oh yeah, oh yeah, it's working. Is that from the blue elastic, or did some iron get in my vat? I don't know. that worked. That worked very well. Let's rinse this out. Oh, holy moly! This is just sunshine incarnate. Oh, yes. And these ones, and like the dark rings around some of them, of course aren't the blue elastics. I've almost forgotten that I put in extra resists after the mordanting bath. The darker ones are just the ogals, the ogal color. And now that I remember that I did that, that's cool. That's really cool that we have that like little bit of a more color tone over here. This shirt, oh my god, I am so in love with it. The color is perfect. Ah, yes. Oh, can't wait for it to dry. So that then I can wash it again and iron it. But before I will wash it again and iron it, I'm going to show you, of course, reveal shots of me wearing both these pieces, which are both so good. So yeah, the tie-dyeing on this dress is very subtle. But actually, I like that about it. It reminds me of birch bark or old parchment maybe. And I think it looks nice. I think it looks really nice. It's subtle, but the tie-dyeing is there, especially on the back. The back is pure birch bark. And I realize now that I could have known that the front was going to be very light because I folded it in half, front facing inwards. This is my very first time tie-dyeing. If I was a little bit more experienced with all of it, I could have, foreseen that. If I was smarter, maybe I also could have foreseen that. But now we have the very subtly dyed dress, which I think looks very summery as well. I also really like how I folded the dress with the grain line of the skirt, and it's a little bit bias cut, so now it accentuates that it is a swooshy skirt. Yeah, for proof of concept, I'm liking this. I will be searching for more linen in the second-hand store to dye like this.
I have said it before, but this shirt, Summer Incarnate. Ooh, I am so happy with this. A yellow shirt, of course, was a great starting point, but I made it something even better. An ochre shirt with yellow suns. Yes, I am very happy with this result. Of the two projects that I did, this one, yeah. Don't get me wrong, the dress is nice and I feel all kinds of woodland fairy in it, but this is very much me, and you will catch me wearing this exact ensemble probably 100 times this summer. Yeah, the vintage cut, the color that it has now. I am so in love with it, but that is probably abundantly clear. What of course must be said is that this is not as vibrant or pow pow in your face than a lot of the tie-dye projects you might be used to seeing. Like, if you're not at all familiar with my natural dyeing experiments, natural dyes, all in all, are more subtle, more subdued, more natural in color. Well, yeah, that's what the name says, of course. And that's for me why I was a little bit, well, will this work? Which is actually a stupid question, because both tie-dyeing and batik and all the kinds of dye techniques that we have as humans are ages old, of course. Just a little excerpt from my book. It is known that tie-dyeing existed in China during the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 906 AD, and in Japan in the Nara period, 552 to 794 AD. The tradition is also indigenous to and has existed for centuries in Southeast Asia, Indonesia and India, in addition to Peru and parts of Africa. The discovery of synthetic dyes and their subsequent improvement encouraged even more widespread use of the technique, which is reaching the height of its popularity all over the world today. Today, as I said, was 1974, and then back in the 90s, and we are currently seeing another rise in tie-dye fashion. But still, to me, there was like this little question in my brain: will this work with my natural dyes? Am I able to make it work with my natural dyes? Maybe that was a better question. This has been on my video idea list for years. And just seeing that rag after the ink video, I was like, it's no time like the present! And I'm so glad that I actually went for it. I stopped wondering and tried. So now that I have proof of concept, actually, I want to try some other things. I want to try the combination of my dress and my shirt, the techniques that I used. So I think it would be cool to oak gall, or oak leaf, something from walnut tree, maybe alder cone, all the tannin stuff, mordant, a thing, shirt, dress, skirt, whatever. Then, mordant it again with alum, dye it some other color, and then dip some pieces in iron to get like the combination of both. I think that would be so cool. Or, makes multiple dye vats and dip them in multiple dye vats. I think there are so many possibilities now opening up for me. The secondhand store does not see me coming for all their linen and cotton. But it's what's going to happen. I'm very motivated to do more of this because it was fun. I knew it was going to be fun. I have seen Andrea's videos, but it was more fun than I could actually imagine. It's more time consuming, I think, than if you were to do it with synthetic dyes, because you have to wait a couple of hours every time, but the result is so worth it, and I want to do it more. If you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe, but of course that is all up to you. And for me, I will see you in the next video, but before we do that, maybe you could take a look at some more dyeing shenanigans. Bye!